Chicago, Illinois. Coldest place I've ever been. Wintertime, it's mighty cold. You all know that. But if you come to Chicago when it's not winter or in the fall even, it's an amazing town. Very beautiful. Lots to do, lots of fun. I think it's one of the great cities in the United States. Music, comedy, it's all there. I mean, it really is. I met the president in 2004 when he was running for Senate, and I'm happy to say I gave him a little bit of paper back then. This is Louis Farrakhan's house, which was not far actually from where Obama lives. This is Operation Push. I mean, Chicago is a town of black power. It was before Obama, and it remains so. Harold Washington, the first black mayor of Chicago, is fondly remembered by folks black and white there as a real powerful kind of dude. It's a great town. I mean, also they have a nice statue of him. I like this. I took a bunch of pictures of it. Also historic is Wrigley Field. Obviously, baseball is not every black person's favorite sport, but Wrigley Field, if you like any sport, is a great place. Oldest ballpark in the big leagues, one of the oldest sporting venues in the United States, and unique place to see a sporting event. I must say, it feels very different from any place I've ever been, so I recommend that. A little tip for those folks going to Chicago. When I first went to Chicago, I had a Cubs hat on, right? The problem was, I didn't really realize that Cubs are really associated with North Side, which is not South Side, which is not the black side of town. I was walking through Chicago with this hat on. Brothers, were giving me some very hard stares. So if you're going to go to Chicago, I suggest you try one of these. It'll make your whole trip a lot easier. Chicago architecturally is very beautiful. It's actually probably one of the most beautiful metropolises in the country. They have a really wonderful way of building their skyscrapers and their older kind of industrial buildings and melding them together in a way that isn't intrusive. That's the Hancock Building there in downtown Chicago. I just find it quite imposing. I find Chicago one of the most beautiful places architecturally alone that I've ever been in the country. A lot of New Yorkers go poo-poo, but it's real. It's a great looking town. Batman shot it. It's Gotham City. It was shot there, so it has a lot of character. It looks great on camera, and a lot of movies have been shot in Chicago because of that. Pisker Pavilion here was built by Frank Gehry. An amazing structure. Again, downtown. Again, this integration of the new and old. This kind of silver egg thing, which is near the Pisker Pavilion. Just another example of how Chicago mixes old and new architectural styles. Magnificent Mile, famous strip. Gotta walk through it if you're going to the city of Chicago. Now, Chicago's a great town to get around in, easy to get around in. There's the L line. It takes you from downtown to the south side, which is a completely different reality of Chicago, traditional black area, and we're about to enter it in a minute. There are many classic books written about Chicago, but I mean, you can't really beat Richard Wright's writing, particularly Native Son and Black Boy. Native Son is the classic Chicago novel coming up, crime, violence, and the South Side. Black Boy, though it's set in the South, it's all about Richard Wright escaping to the North. And actually the sequel to Black Boy is American Hunger, which is all about his life in Chicago, both of which I highly recommend for those traveling to the Windy City. Now, when you get off of the L train, Bronzeville is a traditional name for the South Side or the black side of Chicago. It's not used that much anymore, but it has a great historic connection to the 40s, 50s history of the city. Brings you from Donald Washington all the way to R. Kelly. This mural actually is on the subway stop in Bronzeville. Got all the greats who came out of Chicago, and so many have. Many played the Regal Theater, which was the classic venue, which has now been revived recently. So a lot of good stuff over there. A lot of good stuff in Bronzeville. You need to go over there when you're in town. Andrew Root Foster was the genius behind the Negro Leagues. And that genius is being celebrated at a place called the Negro Leagues Cafe, which is on the south side, not far from Kaminsky Park where the White Sox play. These murals and these pictures celebrate a kind of black history that we forget about today, but it's a great part of Chicago's history. Chicago's got a great sense of black history, black power. This place, Army and Lou's, been in business since the 1940s, okay? It's gone through several black owners. Reputedly has the best fried chicken in Chicago. Obviously, that's open for debate, but it was damn good when I was there. The South Side is where you go get your hair cut. Highly recommend that's where you go to trim yourself up when you're in Chicago. And of course, the DeSable Museum of African American History. That's DeSable himself. And it's a great venue, great place to take your kids when you're on a visit. has so much Chicago black history, which is pretty rich, and American black history. I ran into Jerry Butler, the great soul singer there, and an alderman in Chicago. So he's both a political figure and a great music figure who sang with Curtis Mayfield coming up. Ironically, his favorite recent song, I Believe I Could Fly by R. Kelly. Who knew, right? Another, obviously, if you go to Chicago, you got to try and go and see Oprah. Harpo Studios, they have shows, during the season. It's not the easiest ticket in the world to get, but obviously a good one. I was there when they taped the recent show with Chris Rock and Solange Knowles. So Oprah, you got to run through if you can. Now, the thing about Chicago is that the beachfront is so well used. They don't have a lot, it's obviously cold in the winter, but summertime, the entire beachfront on the lake is really beautifully maintained. This is Copernicus outside the planetarium. And when you turn around from the planetarium, you get these amazing views of Chicago. It's kind of almost like a little peninsula out there. So the city of big shoulders is a great place to visit. I mean, I've just skimmed the surface of some of the great things about it. This is Nelson George from BlackAtlas.com. Catch you in the air.